House Republicans, rhinos, traitors, all of them, just a few moments ago voted for gun control in the United States House of Representatives. We name their names here in just a few moments. Combine these 14 Republicans with the 15 rhino traitors over in the Senate. 29 Republicans voted for the Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Joe Biden gun control attack in Congress. Welcome in, everyone. Patrick Parsons, Executive Vice President of the American Firearms Association, alongside my colleague, Aaron Dorr. Let us know where you are watching from. Pound that like button, pound that share button, and
guys.
comment where you're watching from across the country. We have these 14 Republicans who voted for gun control just a bit ago in Congress. Aaron, do you want to read these people off, or do you want me to tick them off?
Yeah, it's fine. We've got Liz Cheney, of course, Wyoming, piece of trash. Liz Cheney, Adam Kinzinger from Illinois on his way out the door. You've got Tom Rice. You've got John Katko. You've got Chris Jacobs from New York State. Maria Salazar, Brian Fitzpatrick. That's Pennsylvania, I believe. Correct, Patrick?
Correct.
Peter Meyer, Fred Upton, Steve Shabbat from Ohio. You got Mike Turner, David Joyce, and Anthony Gonzalez. All of these so-called Republicans joined up with Nancy Pelosi today and backed this massive gun control bill in the next iteration of the betrayal that we've seen in Washington, D.C. For the last 3 weeks in a row. One more big screw you to gun owners from rhino Republicans in Washington, D.C. that happened just a little while ago today.
We're going to let Aaron break this bill down here in just a few minutes, guys, with the main points of it. But yeah, you saw what happened last night. 15 rhino senators voted for this. They joined the Democrats. If we had just had 6 who didn't, this thing would have been dead, would have died over in the Senate. Yeah. McConnell and Cornyn rammed it through. Comes over to the House. There was rumors on the Hill, which I was on the Hill, and my colleague Chris, we were on the Hill all week long. There was rumors of between 15 and 30 Republicans in the House potentially voting for this gun control bill. I think the pressure and the heat kept those numbers down.
Yes.
But regardless, these are rhinos. This guy, Peter Meyer up in Michigan, is just trash. And how about Liz Cheney? I mean, this Liz Cheney woman is the most repulsive House member on Capitol Hill. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. She voted this way because she wants Democrats in Wyoming to vote for her.
Yeah.
Okay. And we can get into that in a bit if we want to. But regardless, this bill is now heading to the White House. It's headed to Joe Biden, a massive attack on our gun rights, the biggest in 30 years. Of course, we can counterbalance that with what happened and all the fireworks over at the Supreme Court. We're going to talk about that in a minute as well, guys. But Aaron, why don't you break down the main bullet points of this bill for everybody watching? Yes, this is about to go into law because these traitor rhino Republicans caved in the Congress.
Yeah, I'll do that. I want to make sure people are saying, are you sure about Steve Shabbat? Yeah, here's the list again for those who are getting on right now. These are the 14. This is confirmed. There's no ifs, ands. This is not a confusion here. This is straight up from the Hill.com. Liz Cheney, Adam Kinzinger, Tom Rice, John Katko, Maria Salazar, Chris Jacobs, Brian Fitzpatrick, Peter Meyer, Fred Upton, Steve Shabbat, Mike Turner, David Joyce, Anthony Gonzalez. These are all of the Republicans who voted to screw you over today on the House floor, siding with Nancy Pelosi. And just to be clear what this bill is, we're seeing some people in the comment section, I saw it last night too, saying, well, we're hearing from people like phony Joni Ernst that this isn't quite as bad as you guys are saying. Here's what the bill does. $750 million in federal money to state legislative bodies that pass red flag gun seizure laws. We've hashed this over repeatedly. I'm not going to get too deep in the weeds today. We all know what this means. Takes away your guns with no conviction in court. It is the end of the idea that we're presumed innocent until proven guilty because there's no charge to be proven guilty of. Red flag gun seizures. We're adding waiting periods now on juveniles trying to buy firearms. And I say juveniles, that's a terrible word. These are Americans aged 18 to 20. These are adults. These are American citizen adults who are being deemed juveniles by people like Joni Ernst, for example, 10-day waiting periods to buy long guns. They're expanding the Lautenberg Act. So this is the domestic violence legislation that's already in the books that lets you be disarmed for misdemeanors. And they're going to radically redefine what a dating partnership means. So anybody almost can be tagged through the Lautenberg stuff. We're going to change the definition of a dealer. So if you're some guy who's trying to sell part of your collection at a gun show, you're now going to be looked at as an FFL. If you don't have that permit, don't have that license, you're facing felony charges. And finally, they're going to target our children with mental health designations in the schools and put your kids in the NICS system, make them barred from owning guns for life when they're in 5th grade, 6th grade, 8th grade. If they say the wrong thing to their teacher, that's it. Your kids, our kids, will be banned for life from owning guns.
Guys, and you know, a lot of these things that Aaron ticked off, we saw more evidence last night. We were all over the Hill for weeks now. And like I said the other night, you spend 3 days on the Hill and you'll find out who exactly was writing this gun control legislation. The National Rifle Association was deeply, deeply involved in the construction of this bill. They put in the things that they wanted. And then at the end, they said, well, there's a couple things that are just a step too far, so we're going to oppose this. But we saw it last night. Right. Mitch McConnell, all the Democrats, NRA was in on this bill. And we knew it. We were telling y'all this the entire time. And here's the consequences of them negotiating this bill. They're $250, $300 million a year, $200 million a year. They didn't spend any money opposing this thing until it was already a done deal. Nothing. And then they said, oh, we're opposed to it. And they didn't spend any money. Meanwhile, our organization was spending money all over the country, mobilizing gun owners, opposing this legislation. And the NRA drove a knife directly in the back of gun owners across this country, including in your back. And so that's why right now, guys, today, I'm asking y'all, walk away from the NRA, if you're even still there, and join up with the American Firearms Association, guys. Join up right now at joinafa.org. Joinafa.org. Thousands of new members over the last couple of months, guys. Join up now at joinafa.org. $35 a year, less than 10 cents a day. You get your t-shirt, you get us fighting for you, on and on and on. But the organization who screwed you was the National Rifle Association. This thing could have been beat, but still, unfortunately, and this is more a commentary on the failure of the other alternate gun groups in Washington, D.C., they don't scare anybody. No. Okay? AFA, we're going to be honest, we're upstart. We haven't been around for 30 years or 40 years or 15 years. And we're making big inroads on the Hill. But these other groups, they've been around for 40 years, 50 years, not doing anything. They're not scared of them. The NRA, their silence allowed this bill to pass. Yeah. And is a giant FU to gun owners, guys. So come on over and join up with the American Firearms Association today.
I just want to be clear on this too, Patrick. You mentioned the NRA. There's a great article on thehill.com for anybody who doesn't believe this. There's a great article published last night, and it shows the 14 Republicans who voted for this in the Senate chamber last night, and it shows how all but 2 of them have an NRAA or NRAA plus rating. That was the whole point of the article, was to show how all of these A-rated Republicans could still vote for gun control. That's the whole point here. These guys wrote it. These guys being NRA, they wrote it. And they gave a green light on Capitol Hill to all these rhinos and said, hey, it's okay. You can vote for this. We're not gonna downgrade your letter grade. We're not going to come after you. These people are trash. Absolute trash. A-ranked NRA politicians who did this. This is terrible, terrible stuff. And yeah, don't take our word for it. Just Google it. It's all over the place. It's just terrible. Patrick, as you were talking here in a minute, I can get the video of AFA, you and Chris confronting John Cornyn, and we can play it here live on the screen if you want.
Play that again. I think, guys, what needs to happen in Congress? Okay, you've seen us. You've seen me, Aaron, Chris, Ben, the other guys in our organization out there at the state level running confrontational political campaigns at the state level, and we've seen what's happened as a result of that. Massive victories, defeat of numerous gun control bills at the state level. we need to take this to Washington. And you saw the beginnings of that in Washington, D.C., and you've seen it over the last 3 to 4 to 5 months from AFA. That is what must be done at Congress, and that is what makes AFA different, okay?
Exactly.
We're planting the roots right now, or the roots are growing, and these politicians are going to start seeing that, but they have to be held accountable as well. And we're going to continue to do it. And that's what you saw from Chris this week with Cornyn. Unfortunately, it was a bit too late in the sense that the NRA was providing cover for this guy, for weeks. And they provided cover for these people on VAWA as well. We can't forget that. So if you have that video, Aaron, go ahead and play the Cornyn video.
Let me move some screens around here 1 second. I have to move some stuff here.
Yeah. And this was yesterday morning. Outside.
Hang on, Patrick. Here we go.
There he is. Okay.
All right, guys. Here we go.
Hey, Cornyn, you're delivering a great big victory for the gun control crowd. What have you ever done in your Senate career to expand gun rights?
I think you're propagating misinformation.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not. You're funding red flags for all the states, dude. What the heck? What have you ever done in your Senate career to advance gun rights?
Nothing.
Anything? Yeah, but watch out. Hey, Cornyn.
Let me kill that feed here.
Yeah, you guys saw it. There's absolutely nothing that he's done in his career to help gun owners. Tracy says, can you provide a downloadable copy of the video? Tracy, if you go over to our Rumble, I don't know if you're on Rumble, you can go over to Rumble and watch the video there, American Firearms Association. Maybe we can put it in the comments. I don't know, but
it's also on Twitter. It's on Twitter too.
It's on Twitter. These people go to our Twitter page, American Firearms Association, guys. What is our Twitter? 2A_freedom. And see what we do and see what's going to make a difference. This is the only thing that is going to turn these people in the right direction, period. And as the Republicans go into the majority, I don't feel comfortable with John Cornyn and Mitch McConnell at the head of the Republican Party over in the Senate. That is for damn sure. And I think the House is a little easier to control. Yeah, clearly. Exactly, Aaron. I mean, you got 15 people who just voted with the communists. I mean, we watched it last night. Aaron, you were live for over an hour last night.
Yeah.
Cornyn and the gang was backslapping with Chuck Schumer and Debbie Stabenow from Michigan and Tim Kaine, Hillary Clinton's VP nominee. Great job, John. Way to go. I mean, how stupid do you get? How traitorous do you get? But we're going to have to fight back, and we're already working with our allies in Congress as to how we're going to do that in the coming months and Congress.
Well, I think the important thing for folks to remember right now, too, then, is that this is not the end. If the Republicans passed a pro-gun bill, some half version of what they want to get passed, they would sit back and say, "That's it, we're done for 5 years. We got it done." These Democrats don't operate like that. They're much more aggressive than our side has ever been. They've always been that way. And so you can bet right now that as she's on her jet flying back to California, Pelosi's team is laying out the groundwork for the next phase of this fight. They've already said they're going to go after AR-15s next. They're going to go after magazine limits next. They're going after universal background checks next. This is not done. This is not done at all. This is one leg of this victory. And as far as the Democrats are concerned right now, they have the NRA on the ropes. They have Senate Republicans totally terrified right now, playing games, making deals. And they believe they're going to lose control of one or both chambers of Congress. So if you're Schumer right now, if you're Pelosi right now, if you're Biden right now, you're saying, hell, man, go all the way. Go all the way. This is our last shot where we have all three chambers, both chambers plus the White House. Let's go all the way. This is what happens when we have the weak, pathetic, limp noodle leaders in quotation marks. Eric Mortensen, my man, good to see you, buddy. When you have weak leaders like this leading the fight against these people in D.C., in other words, they're giving away the farm, you only encourage them to take more of our rights and more of our freedoms away.
And Aaron, I mean, God forbid, but who's to say next week there's not another mass shooting just as horrific as what we saw in Uvalde, Texas? And I mean, they're just going to come right back for it. I mean, they come back into Congress in 2 weeks, so everybody knows they're off for 2 weeks, and they come back over in the House. We expect Pelosi to begin her so-called assault weapons ban push then. Guys, and speaking of pushing, let us know if you're just now joining us, guys. Let us know where you're watching from around the country, AFA Nation. Comment in the comments section. There's Ryan Marlowe from Asheville, Ohio. Click that like button. Click that share button. Let your friends know exactly what we're doing here at the American Firearms Association. And I'm going to take a second here to read a little bit of roll call, AFA roll call, some of the new members who've come on during the show. You mentioned Eric Mortensen, Aaron, just a few minutes ago. Eric just came on at the $125 level at Shakopee in Shakopee, Minnesota.
Shakopee. And in case you don't know, Patrick, he is the leader of the pro-gun movement in the Minnesota State House. He works with Minnesota gun rights, and he is the best there is in Minnesota when it comes to fighting for gun rights as a state rep.
Great to have you on board, Eric. Brenda in Hull, Georgia is in at the $35 level. Francis in Milford, Pennsylvania is a new member of the American Firearms Association. Guys, walk away from the NRA. Hop on board with AFA today at joinafa.org. John in Largo, Florida is in. Stan, Rushville, Illinois is in. Jeff, Chehalis, Washington is in. Sandra in Covington, Georgia is in. If some more of y'all come on here in a little bit, we will read those as well before we get off the show, guys. But once again, let us know where you're watching from, guys. If you haven't seen the whole show, get on board as a member. We're going to email out the show to our members and supporters all over the country, and we'll put it on social media as well, guys. Yep. Major fireworks in Washington on the gun control bill. We also had Supreme Court, Aaron. Obviously, everybody, unless you're living under a rock, big Roe versus Wade decision today. Why don't you talk about the court decision today and yesterday, and then we'll wrap up the show, and then we'll email this out across the country.
Yeah, it's a great victory for gun owners, especially if you're in the occupied zones, places like California, Maryland, New York, all the D.C., the District of Columbia. All these places are specifically freed now because what this lawsuit dealt with was, number one, having to show a special need or a special purpose to get a carry permit in these states. And the court said that it's completely unconstitutional, and that has been struck down. So all of these 6 states plus DC have to rewrite their carry laws. And effectively what it's done is done away with May issue laws. And we're going to wait and see. I mean, California, New York, they're not just going to like roll over and give up this territory, but they have a constitutional requirement now from the SCOTUS, from the Supreme Court, that says you cannot any longer mandate a needs-based permit system. If they're American citizens and they're legally eligible, that's it. You cannot block them anymore. But the other big thing about this is that it dealt with where you can carry a firearm. Everyone knows the big Heller decision from 2008, the monumental case that said you have an individual right to keep and bear arms. It wasn't a governmental right. It was a personal individual right. But Heller limited that to your private property, your home, your car, your business, your property. What happened yesterday, they extended that to the public. So yes, you have a constitutional right, they said, to carry a firearm in public. A massive expansion of gun rights. I just want to be clear, just to be clear, our rights don't come from SCOTUS. I want to be clear, our rights come from God, but now SCOTUS has acknowledged our right to carry a firearm as individuals in public. And kind of a final little dig that we saw from Clarence Thomas, it was fantastic. He gave in the opinion that from now on, when a state or the federal government wants to pass gun control, they must show that their new regulations are in compliance with the history of this country carrying firearms in public. And so effectively, if you're some blue state commie bastard right now who's trying to draft some new gun control bill, you're just going to know right now it's not going to survive a court challenge because they have made it very clear what that threshold is. And so it's a huge, huge win. If you're in a red state, there's no immediate change for you because only 6 states suffered under this horrible needs-based permit. But it does tell every gun grabber in blue states and in red states the court is heading to the right. And if you even try to draft garbage, it goes back to the left. If you could get it passed, it's going to be struck down in court. So it's a great precedent. It's a huge victory. It's definitely the biggest one since Heller in 2008, and coming on the heels of what's been happening all week in D.C. It's been a fantastic victory for sure.
Yeah, guys. So I mean, you balance those big victories. We could get into the life stuff as well. We proudly say that we're a pro-life, pro-gun group as
Absolutely.
well, guys. You see it on Facebook, you see it on Twitter, and the fact is, it's funny here, and I saw it today. I was actually on a plane a little bit ago, and one of the screaming, squealing, screeching gals out front of the Supreme Court today. Horrible. Wailing, and a lot of them you can't even see tears, so it's obviously just like ginned up nonsense. But guess what shirt she was wearing? March for Our Lives. These people all play on the same team. It's the same crisis activists that are paid. They all do the same crap. I'm not saying there's not going to be violence tonight, because there very well could be. And there's some pretty nasty groups out there. But for the most part, these people all are political activists on these issues, and they're trying to destroy our country. And the killing babies and taking our guns, it is the same dang team. So horrific losses for sure in the Congress. Horrific. I mean, it's absolute caving by 29 out of 270 total Republicans in the House and the Senate. Total cave for 260. We can't let this to happen again. We cannot allow it in the majority. And we just got to stay on offense, guys. And that's what we're doing here at the American Firearms Association. We've got a big court case in a couple of weeks against Merrick Garland, the Attorney General of the United States, who today said he's going to defy the rule. Lawless, completely lawless. He's going to defy the rulings of the Supreme Court on life, and he'll probably do it on guns too. Completely lawless. We are taking him on head-to-head in Kansas City on July 6th. You're going to hear a lot about that, guys. Stay tuned for everything that's happening. You know what? I've seen a number of new members just come on here. I want to do a little roll call so everybody hears their name. We've got Andrew is in New Orleans, Louisiana. How about that? Good to have you on board, Andrew. Let me see a few more here. We've got Wayne in Lovell, Wyoming. Good to have you on board, Wayne. There's Gary in Bennington, Vermont. So y'all are coming in from all over the country today, guys. Join up with the American Firearms Association at joinafa.org. There's Mike in Illinois, Susan in Clayton, Georgia. Welcome in, everyone. Again, we're going to send out this entire show on email. We're going to put it on social media for all of y'all to see. Canton, Ohio, there's Gunther. Aaron, any other closing remarks here? I know everybody's got to take a little bit of a breath, but the left is not sleeping, and you're going to see it tonight, most likely, in Washington, D.C., and we're not sleeping either. We're going on offense. We're playing defense where we have to play defense. We're planning our election mobilization program here in the fall. I know you guys are going to want to chip in and contribute to that so we can kick the tail of some of these anti-gun rhinos and left-wingers across the country, Democrats. So, Aaron, why don't you wrap it up for us there? And again, guys, join up at joinafa.org.
Yeah, you said it, Patrick. Everyone's had a heck of a big week. You guys have been firing off emails every couple of hours, making phone calls all the time. We have flooded you with information, videos, calls, text, email, trying to keep the pressure on in Congress. It's Friday afternoon. This battle, sadly, in the Congress is over, and this one was a defeat. More than that, it was a betrayal. It was a betrayal by NRA, and it's a betrayal by all the Rhino Brigade in D.C. But I want to stress what you said, Patrick. We're not done with this. This is not over. This is going to get signed by Joe Biden, but his team, his handlers, Pelosi's staff, they're already sitting down trying to figure out what is next, trying to go after gun owners. They're never content because, frankly, we would never be content. We want more and more freedom. They want more and more tyranny. They're not going to stop. This fight is not over. Take a break, see your family, catch your breath, and get re-engaged in this fight, guys. Join AFA.org. A lot of guys asking, one last question, a lot of guys asking, where is our shirts? Where's our stuff? Guys, it's coming. We've had some heck of big weeks here. It's all coming out, your decals, your shirts. We're going to hit you guys hard with that content here very shortly. In the meantime, like I said, take a little bit of time, see your family, take a break here for a couple days. This fight is not done. Get re-engaged, share our videos. Much more to come, guys. We're going to sign off for now. You'll see us again next week. Take care.